This might be the first and last figure we get from this company. This is the Cowl Production Oni Girl, 1/12 action figure, and there has been some pretty serious drama about her. Censorship, missing accessories, and even involving criminal law. It's honestly a goddamn mess. So let's talk about what went wrong and how it could have turned out better. The brand Cowl Production is by someone named Venture, a well-known designer and sculptor from China. You may know his work from some collaborations such as the Romankey gun girl, Jessica Astor, the Romankey base bodies, some figures from INART, I'm not sure which ones though, the Morphig blank bodies, and of course Snail Shell has gotten the license to use Cowl's articulation system in their new figures. It is important to note that these figures that I just listed are in collaboration and not by Cowl themselves. But here's where the issue starts. Cowl Production, or Venture, has never actually made a figure by themselves per se, and the Oni Girl would be their first standalone release. The Oni Girl herself is a highly articulated 1/12 action figure which comes in two styles. There is a base body version, good for customs and kind of reminiscent of the Romankey cowl bodies. Of course, there is also a painted finished version which has a very nicely done head sculpt and shading. Both versions come with a bunch of different hands, 3 faces with movable eyes, and the painted version even has 4 extra chest sizes for swaps. In addition, the painted version was limited to 10,000 copies worldwide, so it kind of feels like more of a fancy thing and more of a big deal. The Oni Girl was initially teased what feels like years ago, and collectors thought she'd never actually come out. Or maybe she'd been abandoned, which isn't an uncommon thing among action figure companies. When she was teased around early January 2025, everyone was super excited, me included. But then there was silence again, for almost a whole year. On the 2nd of October 2025, they finally posted an update and a prototype teaser on Instagram. Latest updates, skin tone material tests are underway. The prototype version is almost ready, while the finished version is still in production. Are you excited? Hell yeah, of course we are. Now, I'm no perv, and I'm no gooner, or whatever you want to call it. Maybe. But a highly articulated, thick female figure which is apparently anatomically correct? That's pretty cool. Fast forward to mid-December 2025, they finally posted both the prototype version and the full painted version have now reached their final stage. Thank you for all your patience. Full details and pre-order access will officially be revealed next week. Now, it is important to note that the chest and the crotch areas here are censored. It is a common thing to do this on Chinese social media and by Chinese brands, because censorship in China is pretty strong and very serious. Not long after, on the 31st of December, Cowl released their official promotional images of the Oni Girl. At the same time, they opened the orders for both the limited finished version and the base body. So we're all good, right? Well, this is probably where they messed up. Along with the official promo shots, they also shared a showcase video from a factory production sample, which should mean that it's what is getting made in the factory and what will be shipped out to buyers, right? I would like to keep this video monetized, so if you want to see the full video, go to Cowl_production on Instagram. And while you're there, check out @NoGoodFigures as well. Thanks. Anyway, besides the base chest piece, the alternate chest swaps do seem to be fully detailed, painted, and quite nippy. So it is very reasonable to expect that the actual product would have those details too. I mean, why else would you show us? But once again, looking at the official promo shots, it's kinda hard to tell if anything's there. Now, fast forward to August 2026. Actually, I think she was meant to come out around mid-year, but whatever. On the 12th of August, Cowl Production posted an unboxing video to their Chinese socials, Rednote, Weibo, etc. Of course, it made its way onto other platforms, Instagram, Twitter and all that. In the video, there was nothing really out of the ordinary. She looked pretty good. The eyes were a somewhat lighter color compared to the initial promos, but personally, I think she looks better that way. But here's the main thing. There were no bits to be seen on any of the chests in the unboxing. She was very smooth. However, at the very end of the video, kind of like an after credit scene, this was shown. Understandably, people were a bit confused and asking what it was about. But if you take a closer look, there does seem to be enough room for 4 chest pieces and a crotch piece in the middle. The general consensus was that along with the figure and her 4 chest swaps that came in the actual main figure box, there was a kind of special gift box bonus, which would contain the explicit and detailed Nippe bits. On August 20, Chinese reviewers seem to have gotten their early review samples and showcases started to pop up. Once again, due to censorship, not all of them showed the Nippe bits, but in some shots you could see that there was indeed something there. Now, after about a week, the whole thing went to shit. Apparently people were way too enthusiastic and maybe still a bit confused about the mystery bonus gift. They were posting about it on socials everywhere, asking retailers whether the special gifts would be included and all that kind of stuff. From what I could gather, scrolling Rednote and stuff like that, Cowl Production claimed that this drew way too much attention, with even competitors apparently coming after and, I guess, warning them. So apparently Cowl chickened out and they didn't dare to ship any explicit parts out anymore. Which is kind of goofy, but understandable, I guess. Although it is definitely not a good look to blame your customers and collectors for drawing too much attention, and saying that they were the reason that you were not able to ship out the accessories which you had previously teased. Also, it's not really an excuse saying, whoops, my bad, rookie error, which, again, it kind of is, but still. You might be thinking, why is a bonus gift box not just included with the main figure then? Well, it's censorship. But I also imagine they needed to include 4 chest swaps with the main figure for other regulatory reasons, because that's what they advertised. So the explicit set was kind of done separately from that batch. Now, I've mentioned censorship a few times, but to give you an idea of how serious it is, Article 363 in China's criminal law deals with the production, duplication, publication, sale or dissemination of pornographic or obscene materials for the purpose of making a profit. Penalties range from short-term detention of a few months to actual jail time, a few years, along with fines and all that kind of stuff. So obviously they wouldn't want to risk that just for a figure, right? But where does that leave us? The official response from their official Chinese store is essentially, we apologize, but due to legal restrictions, all details have been censored. Players who cannot accept this should apply for a refund. There were initially speculations that the international or overseas release would get special treatment and receive the explicit chests anyway, but stores like Bombasby, 5K, and Gundamit have already explicitly, no pun intended, mentioned that there will be no details in the intimate areas. Additionally, even if they could get the bits out overseas, local Chinese collectors would not be happy. They would absolutely shit all over Cowl. I mean, not that they aren't doing that anyway. Again, I'm no expert and I'm not defending them or anything like that, but I guess technically they are still providing what they promised in the finished product and the official promos. If we take a look again, you can't actually see any bits because they're completely blurred out. Because of this, there's also no changing to the prices and stuff like that. Whether this was intentional or done to actually mislead buyers or just a general censorship thing, who knows. Similarly, you could of course argue that it's false advertising from their factory sample showcase, but I guess Cowl could also argue that it was a sample and the actual thing would differ or be subject to change. Kinda sucks, but it is what it is. So essentially, at the time of this video, the Nippe bits are probably all gone, and the price is the same. But is there actually any way for an action figure brand to do explicit details and stuff like that if they're in China? Of course there is. Now, take this with a grain of salt, and I don't condone loopholes or breaking the law and that kind of stuff. But some companies do have some pretty nippy bits, don't they? And they just ship them right out. I guess it's a thing to do with marketing and social media. The difference is they don't actually go all tits out and wave them all about for their promos and stuff. They're very subtle and low-key about it. Kind of like an if you know kind of thing. And I may or may not have a review for a few of them. The Oni Girl probably would have been fine if Cowl didn't tease the special gift or bonus at the end of their unboxing, and just shipped it out with the main figure. The thing is, from my understanding, it is also quite easy to cancel orders in China. So they may have been worried about cancellations and wanted to show that their product was of good value. Because it is their first figure, right? Obviously, that backfired pretty badly. Also, apparently, if you label something as an adult or a lifestyle good, for example, adult toys, you can kind of get past the censorship stuff. I guess you could call it like a bonus pen holder or something, I don't know. I mean, it works though, right? And there are also exclusions for literary and artistic works that contain erotic content but hold genuine artistic value. I guess it's kind of subjective and I'm sure there are some side notes and stuff, but some figures, this one included, are pretty damn artistic, aren't they? If there is a way for Cowl to somehow get those parts out to collectors, that would be great, but for now it's not really looking good. I guess we'll have to wait and see and hope they're doing it low-key or something. I wonder if they'll ever try to do another project themselves or just stick to collaborations in the future. I would be very curious to hear your thoughts on the whole Cowl Oni Girl situation. For me, I still think she looks great and I will absolutely have a review for her. Do check out my Instagram and other socials at NoGoodFigures, and thanks for watching.